In this tutorial, we'll walk through setting up an Angular application with Docker, enabling hot reloading to streamline your development workflow. By the end of this guide, you'll have a Dockerized Angular app that automatically reloads when you make changes to your code. Let's break down each section of your Dockerfile and explain what it does for your Angular application. This line specifies the base image for your Docker container. You are using the official Node.js 18 image, which is based on the Alpine Linux distribution. This command sets the working directory inside the container to app. It means that all subsequent commands, like copying files or installing packages, will be executed relative to this directory. This is useful for keeping the project structure organized and isolating your app inside the container. This copies only the package.json and packagelock.json files from your local machine to the container's app directory. These files define the dependencies of your project, and copying them first allows Docker to cache the installation of dependencies, making future builds faster if the dependencies don't change. This command runs npm install inside the container to install all the node.js dependencies listed in the package.json file. The dependencies are installed in the app directory. This copies everything from your local directory into the container's app directory. This line tells Docker that your Angular application will be accessible through port 4200. This sets the default command that will be executed when the container is started. In this case, npm start will run the Angular development server, which is typically defined in your package.json. This Docker-compose file sets up your Angular app in Docker, so you can easily run it with one command by using docker-compose up to start the app in a container, making development smoother and faster. Let's breaking down the Docker-compose file. This specifies the version of the Docker-compose file format you're using. Version 3.8 is a widely supported and commonly used version, and it determines which features are available to you. Each version introduces new features or syntax improvements, but using a version like 3.8 ensures compatibility with most modern Docker environments. Builds the image using the Dockerfile in the current directory. Map port 4200 on the local machine to port 4200 inside the Docker container. Mounts the current directory into app inside the container. Ensures that the node modules directory inside the container is used, avoiding conflicts with the host's node modules. .docker-ignore file helps improve the efficiency of Docker image builds by excluding files that don't need to be part of the image. Host 0 makes your Angular app accessible from outside the Docker container. Port 2000 is checks for file changes every 2 seconds. It helps with live reloading in Docker environments. Now let's start build and run the Docker container by using docker-compose up build. Now we successfully run your Angular application with hot reload functionality inside Docker. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.